Hey friends, and welcome back to Coffee Cup Moments. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rebecca. Today I actually want to speak to you about the most precious thing in the world, and I think this is something that is very underrated, something that a lot of us find hard to actually achieve, and we actually strive more for, and that is time. Now, this is something that God speaks about, and I love Ecclesiastes 3, where Solomon actually talks about a time for all things, a time for all seasons, and he goes through many different things regarding time. But time is something that I think is the most precious thing. It's something that I think we struggle most with, and I think that's because ultimately our priorities sometimes get in the wrong order, I guess you could say. So for me, I want to actually talk about, are you actually giving your time in the right order? Are you actually giving all that you can to what is most important in this world? Now, obviously, God has set eternity in our hearts, and it says that in Ecclesiastes 3 as well. But ultimately, that is what is to come. There will be a time in the future where we will never have to worry about, how tired we are we doing too much, or, what's going to happen in the future, because our futures have been secured in Jesus Christ. But during this lifetime, there's been seasons where I have thought, what am I doing? There's so much going on in my world. I'm running from one thing to another. My God time, or time that I spend with the Lord in the mornings, just is getting less and less. And ultimately, I became more frustrated with those that I loved. And I found that I wasn't as efficient with the things that I was doing as well. So my question is, are you actually spending time with God? Are you actually prioritizing quiet time with God, to seek Him, to know Him, to build that relationship with Him? Is He your number one priority? Is He your number one thing that you want to spend the most time with? Do you have that desire to do so? There's so many questions that we can answer, and I think, as we go on in our week, I would love for you to actually reflect with God about this, and ultimately, are you putting your family in the right order as well? Sometimes we knowingly or unknowingly, work or ministry or whatever you're in tends to get confused with pulling us away with what's most important, and ultimately that is time with God and with our family. They are our first ministry after all. And so, are you prioritizing them over I don't know, a meeting, a late meeting, an early meeting? Do you have to cancel a holiday that's coming up? Are there things in your world that you are struggling with because our time is just being pulled from pillar to post, and we're just finding that no matter what we do, we are stressed, we are tired? And I just think about Psalm 23, when God says that He will lead us beside quiet waters and He will restore our soul. And I think that is the most important thing. If we are feeling stressed, if we're feeling under the weather, or sick, if we are just exhausted, and it doesn't matter if we get early evenings to bed, or we're finding that we're resting more, ultimately we are spiritual beings, and that's something that we need to remember. When we want to restore ourselves, or actually fill ourselves back up, and actually feel less tired, if you like, then my encouragement to you is to spend more time with God, to actually spend more time reading your word, to put worship music on and actually just listen to the Holy Spirit speak to your soul, and just ask Him to fill you back up. Because when you sit, when you rest in Him, when you spend time in God's presence, that's when we feel restored. That's where we feel rested, and our spirits are just filled to the brim, and we just have this high that, we can't really comprehend elsewhere. So that's my kind of thought for today. I hope that it's encouraged you. Please feel free to leave comments below, any questions that you might have. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click on the notification post as well so that you know when I've posted. And obviously I will love to see you back here again next week. God bless.